All right, dude. I think we're live. So before we get into this, before we get into what we're doing for for the weekend, I think we should take a minute to just talk about how sick Thanksgiving Day was, with the Lions scoring that first touchdown, with Cairo Santos missing the 53-yard field goal to go up 16-7.
Short, and I didn't cheer, because it looked good. The Santos kick looked good, but just short indoors by 5 yards.
Yeah, I mean, it was perfectly straight, and so we missed that, and it's like that would have kind of sealed it because they were just dominating. And when 16-7, that in the air would have gone out. Of course, the Lions get the touchdown to Hockenson. They're up 1. And then, the Bears weren't really moving the ball very much. And that drive it took up every second of the clock. I was like, don't fumble. Don't throw an interception. Don't fumble the snap. Knock that kick through. It just did everything exactly how it had to be. And they, usually they stop the clock just for the hell of it for 3 or 4 seconds left. They stopped it with 1 second left. So we were losing with 1 second left. But the team of destiny, we got that. And one of our guys asked, were you nervous? Hell yeah, I was nervous. I was about 6-7 drinks in, but I was still very nervous.
I have murdered for less when Aikman is congratulating Matt Nagy before the kick. I have seriously killed for less. I mean, what is he doing? I mean, the kick hadn't happened yet. I thought for sure he was jinxing it. And I did not think the Bears were going to get the football with 8 minutes left and then never, ever have another snap by the Lions. And I was Goff not only started, he threw a 50-yard pass to go up 7-0 immediately. So it was like not only are we in trouble, but the oblique strain looks fine. Obviously, the DeAndre Swift running backs matter. And no one will ever explain to me, it still hasn't explained to me, how the punt that hits off the helmet at the 50-yard line resulted in the Bears getting the ball at the 10-yard line after the holding. No one has yet to explain that to me, but Team of Destiny, it didn't matter.
Team of Destiny. And the Swift thing was huge because Swift is really good. And I just think the Lions would have extended a couple more drives and it wouldn't have worked out that well. So got everything. How about all those false starts and holds that the Lions just kept going backwards? It was so awesome.
And then the time management. And he did. They got 4 timeouts, right?
Yeah. I was wondering.
Okay, 5 yards. Then how often in a game is 5 yards far less important than 40 seconds? I mean, I'd take advantage of that rule. Then, of course, it should also burn the timeout.
Right.
I mean,
it was a completed pass. I think Montgomery in the flat who was running for maybe a touchdown or certainly a first down. And wait, that doesn't count because you called the timeout you didn't have or 2 timeouts in a row. So it was very.
I can barely watch that game seriously.
Well, wait till next week. Wait till this week.
I've been too worried about this pick all week. This is consuming too much. And then I went over to the in-laws to watch that beautiful Raiders game. Exactly according to plan. I mean, what a thing of beauty, coming to overtime and losing the toss. I mean, just what a dramatic Thanksgiving.
Oh, incredible. I only watched the second half in the morning because it's too late. Went to sleep.
All those kicks at the end. I mean, Carlson had to kick the football 4 times through, and the announcers are like, automatic. First of all, very smart of Dallas doing the Madden thing. We're just trying to time the perfect, don't get offsides, but block the kick. And finally it resulted in a first down, and the announcers are like, well, you got to bring the offense back out there. I'm like, no, you don't. It's a 29-yard kick, and there's been 8,000 holding calls in this game. No thanks.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. They came back and they did it. They played well, the Raiders. They lost Waller. They still played really well.
Waller early second quarter. Lost Waller. Yeah.
It was just because that was 80 people out. So there was 134, 14 lost with the Lions. Ted Bell, rest in peace. Your entry. It was a real man move.
Should be on this podcast.
He should go into the Survivor Hall of Fame by taking a winless team with that much on the line and getting down to winning the game with 1 second left. Gets beaten on a field goal, but it was noble effort. So 14 lost with them. So there was 120 and then 80 done on the Cowboys. And we planned this. We said, we're going to use the Cowboys. We're going to fade. We're going to get the pot odds. We didn't go all in pot odds with the Lions. 4 teams had the Raiders. Those are the real men who were left. But there's 40 teams left.
Margie had 3 multiple entries and went all 3 Cowboys.
Well, you sometimes, at least didn't hedge, that if you win all 3, you're in great shape with 40 left. But unfortunately, the Team of Destiny is still alive. They're not. So, okay. So that's where we're at. 40 teams left. 6 million divided by 40 is 150,000. You and I normally bet, only 120,000 on a game typically. So this is a little more than we're used to. And I was thinking about this. We're 40-1, really 39-1, but 40-1 say. You just won a 40-1 bet. It's not a big deal. You just won one on Corbin Burns for NL Cy Young. So 40-1 is no big deal. 40-1, you can do 40-1. It's not a big thing.
Yeah.
All right. And the other thing about 40-1 is we're done with tug of war, and now it's marbles, right? And maybe we should play a game of marbles to see who gets to choose this thing, because that would be the fairest thing to do some marbles, to do it Squid Game style. But we passed the tug of war. We survived it just as close as they did in the tug of war in the show. Sorry if there's any spoilers, but that's not really spoiling. And then we got to do the marbles. All right, so let's just get to it. We don't agree. So we're gonna have to work this out in real time, live. I like the Falcons, and I wanted to make the Falcons my best bet against the spread. I used the Colts, which I also like. And by the way, for the Super Contest, which is like such an afterthought, as long as you use the Falcons and Colts, I don't care what other three you use. I mean, I like Seattle a little bit too, but I want to use the Falcons. And the thing is, the Falcons are 2-point. They were pick'em at Jacksonville. This is a team that lost 33-0 on Thursday and 43-3 the week before. So they've lost like 76-3 over the last 8 quarters. And yet they were even money on the road. And then the line moved up to 2. And you sent me a Matt Ryan thing, and he's just a professional. He's like, it's unexcusable how we've played. We're going to work hard. I read a Grady Jarrett thing. Here's the thing. Here's how I see it. And you can tell me how you see it. I see it as Atlanta's here's my prophecy. You're talking probability. I'm talking prophecy. Okay. Atlanta is going to bring its A game. That's what I believe based on my understanding of the NFL. They're going to play their A game. So I feel like Atlanta's A game against unknown Jacksonville is better than unknown Houston versus unknown Jets. You like Houston. That's my thesis. I don't care what Atlanta's average output is or whatever. I'm saying Atlanta's going to bring its A, and they're going to face, I don't know how Jacksonville's going to play. And I feel like Houston and Jets, I don't know who's going to play harder or better. I just feel very strongly with the 10-day rest after those 2 blowouts, Atlanta's showing up with a bunch of professionals on that team. And not only that, here's my pitch to you. I have the Patriots available in your pool, and I will use Atlanta in that pool over the Patriots to get this. I'm the bad guy. If Atlanta loses, Texans win, holy shit, I just blew us all this money. And it is what it is. I have to eat it. It is what it is, right? But I just felt Atlanta. And here's the last thing I'll say is that in my mind, I liked Atlanta against the spread immediately. I was like, oh no, this is a buy low on Atlanta. And then I was thinking about Survivor. And just for context, I mean, 3.5-point Bengals or Eagles are probably our top, or Niners are moving up to 3.5. Those are our top point spread numbers. It's not like we have, the Patriots available or something. There's nobody good that we have. So I was thinking about it, feeling it. And I was like, it's Atlanta. Atlanta's the right one. Atlanta's the right one. And I was watching the Raiders Cowboys game. And just as I was saying to myself, Atlanta's the right one, somebody, I forget who the announcer was, he goes, Atlanta, this and that. He goes, Atlanta. And so he was doing something in Atlanta. And I was like, oh, okay, that's it. It's the right one. It confirmed it for me. I know you're arguing probability. You had some good arguments, but I'm arguing prophecy. Okay. Not probability, prophecy. Probability doesn't mean shit on a one-off. You just got to get it right. It doesn't matter if you were a 60-40 favorite and you lose. It doesn't matter if you're a 58-42 and mine's 53-47. It doesn't matter. You got to get on the right side of that coin flip. And it's not a coin flip. My thesis is that Atlanta's going to bring its A game. And I don't know what Jacksonville's going to do. And that's the best we can do. So tell me what your counter is.
On the drive to dinner last night, I was hoping Donald Glover would come on for some sign of Atlanta or something. But I'm not kidding. I kept told the wife that. And some country group called Lone Star came on instead. So I'm like, it's more Texas.
Oh no. I wish you didn't say that. I wish you didn't say that. So just
behind the scenes, we do know we did get on a brief phone call yesterday and went over this, and I'm sure many people are very excited here. Falcons, I mean, what a pick of all these options, but we both decided we don't like the Bengals feel, and that's the biggest spread. Don't love the Giants either, although with some injuries,
the Eagles,
I could have been talked into. Losing to your Giants, but the Eagles. All right, so last we had talked, I had settled on the Jets, and I could throw a million different stats that I went deep into and say that the Jets are allowing the most yards per play on the road. Houston has the number 6 pass defense in DVOA, and I think Zach Wilson's just kind of a gift. He's been really, really bad, and they would not be starting him if not for Joe Flacco getting COVID. And then I said, even forget my numbers. I have Houston ranked as a top 5 fantasy D this week. So I had kind of settled on them, independently of you. And but you countered and just said that all those numbers are priced in. All those nerd numbers I'm looking at, of course, syndicates are looking deep into them, right? So they're priced in. They're priced in the line. So I understand what you're saying there, totally. And I would also just counter further that, looking deep into it, props to RotoWire. They did have this note when others didn't. But Matt Ryan has maybe dealing with a turf toe injury. My major concern here is Cordarrelle Patterson. They have scored 0 points with over the last 7 quarters without him, and he is questionable to even play, maybe dealing with a high ankle sprain, in which players are not the same, certainly not 3 weeks later. And if you look deeper, Jacksonville actually has a pretty good pressure rate, and the Falcons struggle against it. They're literally DVOA's last team. So we're putting our money on the line, $6 million all on the line on DVO's number 32 ranked team on the season. It's no like weird numbers like I pointed to you when you looked at Rufus. I'm like, Texans. Well, Davis Mills numbers compared to Tyrod Taylor may be very different. Oh no, this is an Atlanta team that's now missing Calvin Ridley. Yet on the aggregate all year, they've been the worst team in football, and you're putting it to it. But having said all that, you feel strongly. You really do feel strongly here. And I think the Falcons would be like my third pick. Honestly, I've settled on the Niners as my number 1 pick. If I were to make this choice here, I feel like the Niners being my home team is making me even more skeptical. But just taking a step back, Shanahan's record with Jimmy G, and those guys are never all healthy. The the Vikings have this weird issue. Everson Griffin, was the police came, he's out. Another defensive lineman's on COVID. They're coming off this crazy win against the Packers last week, and the Niners are healthy, and now that spread's moving to 3.5. Not a great home team. So I personally would pick the Niners. My next choice would be the Texans. Then it would be the Falcons. You appear to be willing to go to bat for the Falcons.
Yeah, I'm willing to go to bat for him. I mean, if you were like, dude, I'm going to defend a straight if we don't do this, I would say, okay, if you want to step up bigger, but I'm willing to be the bad guy. It was just what came to me. Like, I have to trust that process. Like, I've watched a lot of football in my life. It just was like, this is the right one. We can argue numbers and personnel and all this stuff, but as you said, it's priced in. I mean, these lines are pretty, and again, even the line doesn't matter. That's just another probability point, right?
And
like
2 versus 3.5 is like,
yeah.
I mean, then you're really getting.
You're splitting hairs. And look, Dallas was 8.5 or 8 or 7.5, and Bears were 3. It was 2.5 by kickoff. The week before that week that I used Miami and then locked without Tua. And then that went down to 4. And, we swore off the Saints at 6.5 that it went up to, and we swore off Dallas at 10 that week. And that was why we survived. I mean, that stuff is not important. Probability, that's all probability. And that's great if you're flipping coins or playing blackjack. You want to play perfect blackjack by the book because probability rules games of cards and coins where every card is the same. But this thing, you want to be in the ballpark of what the market says. But if it's in ballpark, even like, you got to go with your gut. And my gut is, and again, if I'm wrong, I'll eat it in next podcast. I mean, it's a lot of money, but we got to choose somebody, right? It's all in every week. It's how it is. It's, Squid Game here.
I wish we totally did agree on the pick here. It would have been a clean out on Thanksgiving. I thought in hindsight, because we was like a free roll. We both agreed it would have been a clean out. Like, yep. Oh, really? We should have taken the Lion. I mean, whatever. This one's gonna suck because we don't fully agree, but it is what it is. And
you would have taken the Niners. You would have taken the Niners, not the Texans. So the Texans argument, you changed your mind.
Yeah, I thought about it more, and I've just been like, I'm thinking myself as a homer. Then honestly, objectively, if my life depended on it, I think the Niners are the most likely team to win this weekend.
Yeah, I'm a little scared by the Vikings. I know they have some,
they're
issues with Griffin.
They're a good team,
but like they're pretty good, and they have weapons. And the Niners secondary is not very good, and they're in games with everybody. They're in Arizona, who's 9-2, and they missed a field goal. They have been toe to toe with everybody, and I kind of feel like, as you said, the Niners don't play well at home. Maybe the Niners crush them. Maybe they just run it down their throats. But Elijah Mitchell is questionable. Those other running backs aren't very good. And so, yeah, when those guys are healthy, they've got a good pass. They've got really good weapons. But if they can't run the ball as effectively as they want, and Minnesota's slinging it down the field, I don't know. That seems like kind of a coin flip. So, yeah, I mean, these are all coin flips.
They are, and it's not like you're picking a team that I'm on the opposite side. And if you're adamant, I mean, I would feel worse if I fought, especially my Homer Niners, and they lose. I'd ultimately probably feel worse that way. But this is a tough one. We're going super thin. The Falcons are probably going to lose this game, man. I mean, this is thin. This is a road team.
They're favorite. They're
so bad. They're so bad without Ridley. This offense is
they're favored. They're favored. They had 2 games. They had a game.
For Patterson has a high ankle sprain.
Too late. We're not going to know. We're not going to know. Okay. We're going to lock this thing. And by the way, if you don't get an email in the next hour something's wrong because we're pushing this close to the deadline. So do not, get on the phone, make sure that I do it.
No, I know.
And I'll tell you what, again, like this is crazy. I literally just feel it. Okay. I feel this is I just feel it's the right play of the choices we have.
Hero if they get, you're the
listen, I did this with Miami and it saved us. We wouldn't even be here. Okay. I feel this and it could be wrong, obviously, but I'll tell you what, just to put some extra skin in the game, not that I don't have enough, I will put there's 3 people left in your pool. It's about $3,000. It's not nothing. And I will put it on Atlanta. I have the Patriots available, and I will put that in Atlanta just as a showing of faith that like I know this is a big deal, and I'm going to go with it. And if I'm wrong, you know what? I'm wrong. We'll never know. We'll never know what would have happened because we can never simulate it and pick next week as if we had. We could never know. Like if we lose, we can never know what would have happened. All we would know is if the Niners did win, then we would know what we had. But I also think we need to save the Niners for Christmas, possibly, because Niners play the Titans on Christmas. Remember that. And Niners play the Titans and the Cardinals play the Colts. And we have the Cardinals, Niners, and Titans left of the Christmas teams because Browns play the Packers. If we use the Niners and the Titans, A.J. Brown just went on IR. If the Titans crater and the Niners are favored in that game, then we probably are forced, can't use the Cardinals, in the next couple of weeks before Christmas if we need to. And the Cardinals are playing the Colts. That is not it's not like, they'll be favored by like 6 or something like that. So it'll force us into a game. So, again, I would never save. If I thought the Niners were the best team, I would use the Niners. But there is some
and you were close. I know originally you liked Houston too, though. It's nearly your best bet. And I mean, Zach Wilson's not a gift. I mean, they're
I like Houston. I think Houston is. I think they're more likely to win than not. And I like the Niners too. I kind of agree with you on all of these. It was just that like my brain, but like my gut was just like Atlanta's the right team, and it just to me like that's more important. And it's not just like I'm making it up. It was just like it was something I felt was right. And again, that doesn't mean it's right. It just means that like. The process is more like, we can go through all the stuff, but the point spreads are pretty much a pretty good proxy for anything we could go. To me, that's like good enough of all the numbers crunched. But for me, it was sort of like my unconscious, I say, what do I want? And I just say, send it to me. And sometimes the Bears, I didn't feel that way. The Bears, I was kind of like, we don't have a choice. I didn't feel it. I was just like, Oscar, I was walking and I was like, I think we have to do the Bears. But this one I felt. So it'll be a test of that.
You're half the partnership. In fact, you're the one that signed it up personally. Like I've always felt when I did Super Contest myself, I was kind of the 51%. I feel like you deserve this one. You're the guy that stayed behind and did it. And you feel adamant about this. If you had come, we had not talked since yesterday. So if you had come today and said, I looked into the turf toe and I was unsure, I would have fought for the Niners and or Texans hard. I like those two better for sure myself. But as is, I'm comfortable with this because
now,
I'm not certain in my decision, and you are, and I'm totally. And you even, I appreciate that you said if I fought hard, you would allow me to have the pick go. That goes a long way.
If you said I'm absolutely 100%, no one knows. But if you're like I just need to do this pick.
Yeah, no, you told me.
I'm on the hook. I'm on the hook. You can, it's not like you're going to pay me the money. I don't want the money, but you're on the hook, in terms of accountability wise, like I'm on the hook. Like I'm going to do the other one. I just feel like that's just a proof. I'm going to move from the Patriots to the Falcons and say, I'm on the hook for this. I really, really hope they don't lose. And, nobody can, predict the future, but it was the one that came to me. And I think it came to me because I was like, given what I know about the NFL in my life, I believe Atlanta will bring its A game. That's what I believe. And I don't know what Jacksonville will do. I don't have a read on that, or Houston or the Jets. And I feel like these games, when you look at these, numbers and the spread and Rufus's numbers or DVOA or whatever, that's just sort of their average output, given, because teams don't just play their B game every week. They play their A game, they play their C game. It fluctuates. So it's not just how good they are. It's what the spot is, like where you think the game is. They had 10 days off after the two most horrendous things. They're pros. Like, Matt Ryan's a pro. Say what you want. He's not, superstar, but he's a pro. And I think they're going to play, and I think they're going to be ready, and it's on the road, but
Deion Jones left practice or middle linebacker Friday. He could be Ryan could be playing for turf toe. No Patterson. This is extremely thin. A team that cannot pressure the quarterback and he gets pressured. There's
no point in arguing against it right now.
But I feel still nevertheless. I'm just wanted to say that out there into the universe.
Look at that. The Caesars. It's Caesars. Atlanta just crept up to 2.5, just as we were talking.
2.5 at Caesars. So the sharps are on the Falcons for sure.
It was a pick 'em. It was a pick. Why is the team that lost 76-3 over the last 8 quarters on the road?
DVOA's last ranked team.
DVOA. Listen. If and when Atlanta wins, we're going to retire DVOA from this podcast.
Too. Okay? That'll be a great
and
DVOA.
And secondly, they lost 76-3 over the last 8 quarters. They were a pick 'em on the road, which is crazy. Why are they, not +3? And they moved up toward them in the last couple of days. I mean, you can nitpick little things about individual injuries. I mean, look at all the injuries Jacksonville has from the receiving core.
No Ridley and no Pattern. I'm just at some point you got to have, some sort of person above Zacchaeus level.
Yeah, Justin Gage is gonna have a monster game.
Yeah. I don't think it's
Kyle Pitts, man. Oh yeah, Russell Gage. Yeah. But I didn't. The guy's such a scrub. I even got his
big
name
game from Tajay Sharp. You heard it here.
Look,
Pitts. I know. Yeah.
Do you want to be on?
Sick. Hey, I have a RotoWire team.
Do you want to be on the Sharp team? Do you want to be on the Sharp team?
I have a RotoWire team number 23 overall in football, and I have Pitts on it, so that'd be sick if he blew up. But all right, yeah. All right, let's go. I'm cool with the decision. I'm totally comfortable with it. You went to bat, and it's looking like dirty birds. Should we tell people this, or should we keep it quiet?
Yeah, let's keep it quiet because I don't want other people to find out.
Send that in. Okay.
Yeah, we shouldn't do it, and then we'll send in something else. So if you think that you're going to get us because that we send in Atlanta, we're just sending it. We just make this as a joke. This could be a joke, We'll reveal. Okay, but if you don't get an email in the next half hour, I'm doing this right after I shut this down, which is in a minute. This is a problem. Gum and text Heather, be like, I don't care if he's in the hospital, just get that pick in. Okay.
All right,
man. Let's do it. It's Falcons. Let's do it, man. Team of Destiny. TOMFD. TOMFD.
All right,
let's do it.
Let's go.
All right.
Let's go.
Wait. Before we sign off, I want to just thank everybody. And I mentioned you guys in the column today. Yesterday. How many people are like, I don't even care about my own teams. I'm just rooting for these dudes. Crazy. This is so awesome. I retweeted
you got like 60 likes on this. Just
10%. 10%. I retweeted 10% of the of the amount of responses we got. It's so sick. So anyway, appreciate that. It's fun. It's fun having the whole, having this whole giant, amount of people. And that's why they didn't fumble the field goal. So
yeah, for sure. No,
appreciate it. All right, man. Let's do the shit.
All right.
Let's do the shit.
Man, let's go.
Take it easy. Later.
Later, Liss.